A number of federal agencies have recently rolled back legal protections for sexual and gender minorities, a situation that has many in the LGBT community concerned. To mark the International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia, and Transphobia, the American Psychological Association, the Fenway Institute, and the Center for American Progress held a well-attended briefing on Capitol Hill to spotlight the potentially harmful physical and mental health effects of discriminatory policies on sexual and gender minorities.
I think this is a time of considerable anxiety, and it's an important opportunity for members of our community to continue to stand up and fight and demand full equality for members of the LGBTQ community.
Psychological science shows how living without equal legal protections may increase stigma and prejudice against sexual and gender minorities.
What happens is, because of those increased stressors and lack of social support, what we find is that LGBTQ people have increased rates of cardiovascular disease, asthma, depression, mental health issues such as anxiety and PTSD.
We know what discrimination can do based on state-level data. A study found that after the implementation of state-level bans on same-sex marriage, sexual and gender minority populations in those states experienced an increase in psychological and alcohol use disorders, including a 248% increase in generalized anxiety disorder. Another study found that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people who live in states without policies against employment discrimination and hate crimes are at an increased risk for anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder.
We know that transgender people are over 20 times more likely to have made a suicide attempt.
The American Psychological Association supports laws and policies extending equal protection to sexual and gender minorities, as well as data collection through federally funded surveys and research.
Without data, we know nothing. And we can't identify people and their concerns, their health problems, or how they're being harmed by discrimination if we don't have data on them.
Despite the current climate, the panelists want people to remain optimistic.
We have to give people something to be hopeful about and something to rally around. So things like the Equality Act, the LGBT Data Inclusion Act, the Do No Harm Act.
Beyond the federal policy level, you can help by asking your members of Congress to support legislation to protect LGBT people from discrimination, including the Equality Act, and by joining the Federal Action Network. Click the link at the top right corner of your screen to learn more. In Washington, I'm Caitlin Luna for the American Psychological Association.